Just getting to the gym after a day of work. Can't wait to get this chest pump in. Good old Konquer fit. Heck yeah. All right. Yo, man, what's going on?
Yo, what's up, brother?
Hey, getting ready to hit this chest day.
Nah, bro, it's leg day.
Fuck, man.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Konquer Fit Podcast. I am Chad Kratz, joined by Mr. Jeff Brandt as usual. Today's topic, we are going to go over supplements, the myths, the truths, and everything in between.
The addiction.
What do you mean, the addiction?
Yeah. I mean, we've got a joke here at the gym. You know, I'm the local drug dealer in terms of different pre-workouts and whatnot. And, you know, when you've been doing it for as long as us.
Yeah, years.
You find stuff that you like, you find stuff that works, and you really get through a lot of the crap that's out there, right? So
For sure. I think the first thing is supplementation required for weightlifting?
You know, if you would have asked me this probably 3-4 years ago, I'd have said no. I'd have said, for me at that time, absolutely not. But as age caught up to me, I think for me, I believe it is, right? And we're going to talk about a few different things today, kind of like what we like and what we don't like. But
and maybe some myths behind them of things we've been told that we now know seemingly isn't true.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You know, when I asked you, is it required? The thing we have to remember is it's not required.
No.
Right? Pre-workout, I'm pretty sure at this point, both of us would believe it's just a placebo.
Yeah.
The fact that I believe that it works means it works.
Yeah, I mean, let's be honest. We're getting enough caffeine in our systems to probably kill an elephant, right?
Yeah, but you know, stuff for recovery, stuff to make sure your muscles are fluid. That stuff does come in handy from time to time, and especially protein supplements when you're just simply not getting enough in your diet, right? I mean, you can only eat so many chicken breasts before you're just like,
cook it, dude.
I'm just done eating this. Just give me a chocolate protein shake.
Let me drink and be done for the day. Absolutely.
So I know lately, as I'm drinking a pre-workout at 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
That's right, I got my recovery drink in here too. So.
I know one of the ones you and I both have been using here recently as far as pre-workout is concerned. So guys, pre-workout, basically what that's meant for is to kind of give you a kickstart, right? A jump into the workout, a jump into energy.
Yeah.
And there's some vasodilators in there and some things that open up the blood vessels and promote blood pumps to the muscles, right? So we can really get, good pumps to the muscles. A little bit of focus, a little bit of mental stuff. So I think the first one we'll touch base is on the pre-workout. So you have your pre-workout here.
Yep.
So we've been using this. It's YOLO. What is the Hyper Shred, the company?
Yeah, so it's actually Hyped Subs.
Hype Subs. So shout out to Hype Subs. Pretty decent product. Very high in caffeine. So if you are not very well caffeine adapted, or if you're caffeine sensitive, this is probably not a product for you. Because this is what,
It's 300 milligrams of caffeine per 2 scoops. That's a recommended serving. Otherwise, you're looking at $1.50 per scoop.
Per scoop. So maybe if you're new to this, even half of a scoop.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, you really got to start to feel these things out simply because you don't know what it's going to do. You don't know what the reaction is going to be.
No.
I mean, I think we've all taken a pre-workout where your entire body tingled, itched. I think the first pre-workout I took was Super Pump 250. And I don't know if you remember Super Pump 250.
Man, that's old.
Dude, I wanted to fucking walk through a wall.
Yeah.
I'm like, what is this? Put weights in my hands. I don't know what to do.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I can think back to when I first started taking a pre-workout. I wasn't even doing it as a pre-workout. I was doing it like I was sipping it through my
Energy
workout.
drink.
Yeah, so I was taking it at that time. I think it was like GNC Lit, which, is still a decent pre-workout if you look at the ingredients. But I was taking a scoop of that in 32 ounces of water, and it was just flavored water at that point, right? I wasn't using it for what they were selling it for.
Well, not for the 8 to 10 ounces that it's looking to be. Jack 3D was a good one. I mean, I really enjoyed that before they changed the formulation. Now, here's the thing, guys. We all know there's reasons why things get removed, and unfortunately, Jack 3D was one of those that got removed because some high school kid decided to take 10 scoops before a football game, and his fucking heart exploded.
Yeah.
I mean, no shit. You just ingested 1,000 milligrams of caffeine and then you went and ran, which also makes your heart go faster.
Yeah, and let's not forget, you're in high school, so you're at peak physical performance, right? Like,
you probably don't need it.
Yeah.
You don't need the edge.
And
us old dudes,
we're also not doctors, right? We're not telling you what you should take and what you shouldn't take. We're just giving you our experiences. And so, like we're getting back to this YOLO, this is one that Chad and we've been going off and on. They got some flavors out there, and they seem to get it. They have it right.
I think so I'm going to agree and disagree. Okay. I'm going to agree on what is included in the actual pre-workout as far as ingredient wise. Absolutely.
Yep.
Where we are going to disagree is on the fucking flavor.
I tell you,
because this shit nasty. The Hawaiian Punch halfway decent. Gummy Bear
is nasty.
Gummy Bear, hold on. Hype Sups, if y'all out there, change that immediately. That is disgusting.
Okay. Gummy Bear is not there. Right.
Gummy Bear's not there. Grape's the best flavor of everything. I'm just telling you. Grape is the best flavor of anything ever.
But I'm going to tell you, I am enjoying this. This is pink lemonade, right? It's the Fuck Cancer edition pink lemonade. I'm enjoying it, but to each their own, Where we can agree with is that the ingredients that are in this pre-workout, that's what's doing it for us currently.
I do feel like it gives me a push. I feel like it gives me some good pumps.
The mental focus is what's surprising me.
Yeah, and I think, and I don't know if pre-workout necessarily delegates that per se.
Maybe that placebo effect.
Simply for the fact of the matter is, I've literally, because I work out at 4 or 5 in the morning sometimes, and so when I'm taking this stuff, I'm like, I'm so tired, like I don't feel focused at all. But is that due to being tired, or is that something else? I mean, I don't know. But yeah, it is supposed to give you that mental clarity, mental focus to try to, whatever I put in my head, I'm locked in.
Yeah.
Right? So moving on from pre.
Well, hold on real quick.
Yep.
Because you've been doing this a long time, right?
Absolutely. I've been on pre-workout for 14 years.
So once again, we're not doctors. We're not telling you what you should do, how you should take it, right? But if you look at every container of pre-workout, it gives you a dosage, and it actually tells you how to take it.
Please take it that way.
One of our biggest pet peeves is when you see people dry scooping it. So Chad,
yes.
What is dry scooping?
So dry scoop is when you take the scoop and you just dump it in your mouth. Now, I don't know how well this GoPro is going to pick this up, but we're going to do a little experiment. Shall we?
Let's do it.
So we're going to do one of those, and we're going to see what happens here.
You can already see it coming out.
Now, I'm no rocket scientist. I'm not even a doctor of any sort. But the last time I checked, usually when something like this happens, in a previous life of mine, I installed granite countertops. There's a lot of dust associated with granite countertops, which generally causes some fibrosis of the lungs. So, if that's happening when it's getting shaken up in just the container, what do you think is happening when you dump it in your mouth?
Exactly.
Probably the same thing. So you're probably, not only are you ingesting it, which is fine, it's supposed to be ingested, but you're inhaling it. Now, some of the studies have shown that inhaling that dry scoop can lead to some fibrosis of the lungs. So I would probably say, let's not do that. Add it to the water like it's designated to be and take it how it's supposed to be taken.
I know we don't like to read instructions, but honestly, this is 3 sets of instructions. It's the size, the amount of water, and you should shake it, right?
Yeah, and never mind that it's got caffeine in it.
Yep.
That vasodilates and causes the heart to beat faster. So I don't know that I want to be shooting 300 milligrams of caffeine.
Yeah.
And when I can take it in 8 to 10 ounces of water and be just fine. The other thing I've seen is someone taking an RTD, doing their scoop. So let's say it's 2 scoops here, and then they dump in their RTD. Well, this is another 200 milligrams of caffeine. So we just double backed on it, and we made it effervescent because of the carbonation. Probably not a great idea, right? It's the same thing as like drinking alcohol with caffeine. It makes it move faster, right? I don't want to double back. I don't want it to move any faster than what it is, right? I want it to last that time that it's supposed to last. So I would say dry scooping, adding it to an RTD, just don't do it. I mean, at this point, you're just, I don't know what you're doing it for.
Yeah, there's so many examples of professional bodybuilders out there and weightlifters, power lifters, strongmen that have had, heart attacks.
Yeah.
Things along those lines because they were taking 3, 4, 5, 6 scoops of pre-workout, right? Like,
and it's generally a combination of things, right?
Yeah, and you're tuning into our podcast because we're the regular Joes, right? And
regular dude.
And that's what we're selling you guys on. To come follow us, give us that like, subscribe, down below, hit that button. But that's why we're giving out this advice. Just follow the instructions, and work up to it. And if you're in the gym and you got questions, you can reach out to us. Drop a comment below. Yeah. Go talk to someone in the gym that's been there for a while that maybe looks like they know what they're doing.
Take it as it's served, and then on the other side of that, if you do get a bad reaction, just stop. What most people don't realize, and I don't know if you've ever had this experience, but I've had some pre-workouts that I did not have a very good experience with. I believe the one that was the worst was Hyde.
Okay.
And I mean, I took it. First day, I took a regular dose of it. I've been taking pre-workout for 12 years at this point. Dude, I got a headache. My neck hurt. My stomach hurt. Did not get a good lift in. So next day, I dosed it down. Half dosed it. Same thing. Half dosed it. And the next day, same thing. I took it back.
Yeah.
Most of the time you return this stuff, man, as long as you haven't taken half of it and used it, they'll take it back.
Yeah, you're not taking it into the system.
Yeah, trust me, if you had a bad experience, you know what I mean, take it back. It's just not worth it. Like, save yourself the money, and it's just not for you. There's plenty of pre-workouts on the market that are non-caffeinated. They're just as good.
Yeah, and I actually like to do a cycle of that. I'd like to probably every 3 months, right? I like to do a cycle of a stim-free.
A non-stim. And you should cycle off.
Yeah.
It's just like anything. This builds up in your system. Caffeine, by the way, is an additive drug. Okay. What that means is if I took my 300 here and my 200 here, this is 500. Caffeine has a 5-hour half-life. So after 5 hours, I still have half of this in my system. Then I added this. So then this has another 5 hours, but I've still got some time on this guy because I've only gotten rid of half of it, right? Chemical half-life. But taking a cycle off, absolutely. Take a couple weeks off. Doesn't have to be a long time. Couple weeks off. Let your system reset a little bit. I generally do this when I'm on vacation because I don't drink coffee. I generally am a energy drink in the afternoon and pre-workout in the morning.
Yeah.
But I dose it as such. I'm making sure I'm not going over. I think the general rule of thumb now is, don't go over like 450, 500 milligrams per day. And that's all tolerance related as well. Some people tolerate caffeine better than others.
Yeah.
And that's a thing. But I would say taking a couple weeks off. I do it during vacation. I don't drink any caffeine during that time. And that's my detox. And then I come back and I start kind of dosing how I normally would dose to get through my workouts and that kind of thing. But there should be some time off. There should be some lag time there.
Yeah, absolutely. You got to let your body reset a little bit, right? And you're still getting some of those other key vitamins and minerals from the non-stim, right?
You're getting some of those same vasodilators,
literally the caffeine.
Your citrulline, all those kind of pump stuff. All that stuff is in there, so you have to worry about any of that stuff. But moving on from pre-workout, so if we're in the and I don't know where do you. This is a question. Where do you take your 9 line?
Everywhere.
Okay. Like when you drink it. What during what point?
Oh, so for me, I actually start mine during my lift.
Okay. Yeah. So I ask because I don't know. I always do mine intra lift. So this is what we call an intro workout.
Yep.
Right? So it's during the workout. This one here, shout out Downrange Supplements. They're a local company here, veteran owned. The 9 line, good product, solid product.
Great product.
I'd say for intra, the things you're looking for, this has coconut water in it. All of your essential amino acids, your building blocks for muscles. So there has been some studies shown taking EAA during, before, after does help in recovery. Simply for the fact of it's the smallest building blocks, but you have to have all 9.
Yeah.
Where this is different from, let's say, BCAA, a branched chain amino acid, is that BCAA is only usually 3. And generally it's the one your body already makes.
Yeah.
So we don't need to ingest it because your body makes it. We want our essential amino acids. Those are the ones that we need something for our body to make them, through food, through whatever. Generally, like most food, it's not enough, so you need a little bit more. But this one's good. I like it personally because I feel like with the coconut water, with the hydration aspects of it, it makes it so I don't get that too tight, crampy feeling during my workout.
Yeah. No, I mean, literally, it's, during my workout this morning, hit the pre-workout right, let that kick in, and then literally I'm sipping on the 9 line throughout the workout.
That's my water.
Right now, I just spent the last 5 hours at a basketball tournament, so I'm sipping a little bit now because I've been sitting around, I've been a little stagnant. But like Chad said, this is a local company here in Davenport, and this happens to be Gunship Grape, so this is Chad's favorite flavor.
It's the best.
They did a fantastic job with this Gunship Grape.
It mixes well. It's good tasting. I would say honestly, the only one I don't like is orange.
I'm just not a big orange guy.
Yeah, but the
Fruit Punch American AF.
Fruit Punch American AF. I think they have a watermelon now.
Yeah.
Those ones are decent as well. You get your electrolytes. Electrolytes are important, especially for weightlifters. A big thing I think that most people don't realize, especially with weightlifters, is if you're eating clean, generally speaking, you're probably low on electrolytes. So salt and those kind of things, not really a problem.
Yeah.
Because when you're eating meat and vegetables, there's no salt in there except for the salt you added to your meat to season it. And usually that's very small. It's not a can of green beans that has 1,900 milligrams of sodium in it, so it can sit on the shelf for 9 years.
Yeah.
9 or 7 is always my go-to number. I don't know why that is. Like 7 years, motherfuckers. Yeah.
Hey, you didn't know you were going to learn about a little bit of nuclear fallout prepping today, but here we are.
But no, good product. There's plenty of companies out there. Action Sledge makes a really good EAA. There's plenty of companies out there. I think they're all good. The biggest thing, make sure it's got all 9 essential amino acids. I would say make sure it has some kind of coconut water extract in it, and make sure it has a decent amount of sodium, potassium, magnesium, and choline in it.
Yeah.
That way you have all of your electrolytes covered as well. That's going to help you avoid things like cramping, right? The things we don't want to do in a workout when I'm trying to get a pump is have my bicep cramp up and then all of a sudden I can't move.
Yeah.
Not really a good look. Anything more to say about Intra? I mean, Intras are pretty simple.
Yeah, pretty simple.
Pretty simple, straightforward.
Local company that we like to shout out. They do a pretty damn good job.
Yeah, check out Downrange Subs. Veteran owned. Some good guys over there. So make sure you guys check out their product. Love those guys. The other one that's a big one that I think you and I both take is the creatine. Okay? No matter what anybody tries to tell you, all you need is a good creatine monohydrate.
Yeah.
Creatine, chelate, whatever they're coming up with now, monohydrate. You don't need anything. And the ingredients, you guys can't see this, but the ingredient literally should just be creatine monohydrate. There should be no other ingredients in there. No sucralose, no sugar, nothing like that in there. Creatine is kind of works off one of our energy systems. It's a phosphocreatine system stored in the muscles. What's probably the biggest lie you've heard about creatine?
Oh man, if you take creatine, it's gonna take all the water from your muscle or from your organs, and you're gonna just have either a panic attack, you're gonna have something with your heart happen,
you're gonna flush, you're gonna do something, or the age old, it makes you hold on to water.
Yeah, you retain water. If you take creatine, you're just gonna retain water.
So let's touch on that one. Yes, you might retain some water, but let's talk about where that water is actually retained. It is not in your skin. It is not up here where edema and inflammation happen. It is intracellular. That means it is in the muscle cell.
Yep.
So, people, if you're taking creatine monohydrate and you're holding on to water, you can't see it.
Yeah.
It's not visible water. And generally speaking, holding on to water is not necessarily a bad thing unless you're doing it for too long and a lot of it, right? That's what edema is. That's what. So if your kidneys are holding on to water, not really a good thing.
Yeah. You know, like you always hear, well, if you take creatine and you're not drinking enough water, you're just going to do damage. You know, it's going to hurt your kidneys, or you know, all these other things we've been talking about. And realistically, if you are getting your water needs for the day, right,
You're fine.
You have no issues. There's nothing
You
to
should
worry
be in
about.
balance.
Yeah.
You should be in balance. I mean, drink your water normally. You don't have to. If you're already drinking a gallon of water, you're probably good.
Yeah.
For most people, I don't know many people outside of this facility that drink more than a gallon of water.
Yeah.
The funniest one I've ever heard, I had a lady that told me she didn't drink water because she didn't like how it tasted. I said, but it's water though.
It shouldn't have a taste.
It doesn't have a taste. Right? So she was like, but I drink carbonated water. That's good, right? I'm like, well, no, that's not hydrating at all. It's that additive of carbon in there that makes it not hydrating.
So, you know, we've been talking about the myths of creatine, but let's talk about what it does for you, right? What are the benefits of it?
So actually, the vert is still out on all of the benefits of creatine. So right now, creatine is solely taken as a, let's say, weightlifting supplement.
Yep.
Okay. Probably in the next decade or so, creatine is going to shift gears to not just being that, but to also being a health supplement as well. There are some good studies, that it gives muscles energy. It helps with muscle build, muscle tone, and maintaining that. But they are getting into some research where it's good cognitively. It can help the brain actually function better.
Shit, I only got 2 brain cells fighting each other up there.
So here you go, man, double dose.
Yeah,
but you know, and as far as the research is concerned, creatine has no negative side effects. And that is, as far as more recent studies, 10 milligrams for up to 5 years. So, I mean, or is it 10? No, it's 10 grams.
10 grams.
10 grams, not 10 milligrams. 10 milligrams would be next to nothing.
Yep.
So 10 grams. But generally speaking, most people take 5 grams a day.
Yep.
1 scoop. I put it in my pre-workout. You can take it before, after your workout, or when you're not working out at all. You should take creatine every day, even on the days you're not lifting, because creatine also has a 3-day half-life. So in 3 days, it's halfway out of your system.
Yeah.
So normally, most of the supplements will tell you to preload. I don't necessarily know that you have to. If you've never really taken creatine, might not be a bad idea. You're going to do it for 3 days. You're going to take 2 scoops a day for 3 days and then taper off to 1 scoop. Generally speaking, I don't really go off of it, so I take 1 scoop a day religiously. Every once in a while, I do take 2 scoops. And that's just for my own self-experimentation to see if I get any additional benefit from it.
Yeah.
So far, I haven't seen anything that makes me go, oh, wow, I really need to be taking 2 scoops a day. But, you know, the benefits of creatine far outweigh anything negative because there is nothing negative. The whole myth about water and all that stuff, none of it's actually true, especially if you're taking it as dosed.
Normally, people that are talking about that, they're trying to sell you something different.
Oh, right? Sure. It's everything, right?
They're trying to sell you a pill that's going to increase muscle mass. It's going to do all these other things.
You need this magical pump pill.
Yeah. You know, there's a reason why creatine has been one of the most studied supplements out there.
Most studied and most staple.
Yeah. So,
I mean,
there's a reason why it's still sold over the counter. There's a reason why you can literally go almost any grocery store and get it, right? Like,
yeah.
It's the benefits outweigh any myth that you're hearing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And, you know, in its long-term usage, doesn't have any downfall to it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like it's steroids. I mean, steroids at some point you got to come off of them. Like,
or you don't.
Or you don't.
End up in the ground.
Well, I don't know if necessarily end up in the ground, but you're definitely not having no kids.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want that, I guess go ahead and do it, but I don't know.
Can't wait to see the Roy bros come after us in the comments.
Hey, man, if you're on steroids, do your thing.
Yeah, I'm not going to judge you.
For me, just don't say you're not when clearly you are.
Don't
like,
act natty if you're not.
Dude, I saw one the other day. I think it was on Instagram. It was a video of this, like, dude, this chick was a monster. She looked like a mini Arnold. And the dude's like, natty or nah? And she's like, yeah, natty. But she's like, nah, natty. And I'm like, bro, no. Yeah. So, and that's the thing too, we can kind of lead a little bit in, off topic here, with supplementation too, again, most of everything you should be getting should be from diet, right? Sometimes that's possible. Yeah. Other times you might need a little help. You might need a little push. And that's what some of this stuff is for. I think the other thing, hormone balance. Hormone balance plays a large role in men, women, and everybody on the planet. And generally speaking, a lot is true that it's the inverse hormone that controls a lot of things, and a lot of people don't realize that. If I'm looking for sexual health in a male, I'm not looking at testosterone, I'm looking at estrogen. If his estrogen's low or too high, he probably has low libido. Yeah. Has nothing to do with his testosterone, right? Same for women. If you're looking at women right now, the studies are showing low libido. It's not related to estrogen, it's testosterone. Their testosterone's low. And that's a crazy thing. You wouldn't think about talking about women that you'd be like, oh man, my wife's got low T. That doesn't sound like a thing, but it is. It's literally a thing. And we talk about authenticity and being 100% clear. I've been on TRT for 4 years now. I've been on therapeutic testosterone for 4 years. My body wasn't making it anyway. I'm giving it the little help that it needs to be optimal. Yeah. I'm not trying to be at 1200, all the time. I float right in that 5 to 8 where I should be, whereas before I was in the 300s. I was about to
say, when we talked about this before, you were below, sub 300, right?
Yeah, I was barreled, man.
Yeah, you weren't doing anything.
Couldn't do anything. Like, I was tired all the time. But, I see a medical professional for that. He gives me all the advice to follow. I do blood work. So I monitor doing that. Yeah. So if you're going to do something like that, or if you're curious about your hormones, seek a medical professional that strictly does functional health and hormones. That's what you should be doing.
Yeah. Talk to someone that actually has a background in it that can really lead you down that path.
Yeah, right? Don't listen to the giant dude in the gym who says he can get it for you, because usually that stuff can be pretty dirty. And it can cause some problems.
So many nasty reactions, like
face acne and back acne,
and people that are just scarred for life because they look at the games, which is what they should have done, seek medical help or medical advice, right?
For sure. So, and when I went and saw this professional, I mean, a lot of my numbers were skewed. Low vitamin D, low magnesium. My cortisol levels were blown out. Like, my body could tolerate no more stress. Exercise is a stress. It's a positive stress, but it's still stress. Your body sees stress as stress. And, going down that path, I've definitely seen a huge difference in not only my physical well-being, but my mental well-being, my stress control. Like, dude, I remember, like, when my cortisol levels were low, before, like, I got kind of everything back in balance, dude, I was flipping out about nothing. Like, the dog's barking too much and I'm ready to throw him through a window. Like, because I think, if you look at that test, I think it's like 2 to 5, 2 to 7. It's a spit test. Yeah. So we looked at the results. In the morning, I had like 15. I was good. I could handle all the stress. Bring it on. But by the time I got past about 7 p.m., I had 0.5. Yeah, you had nothing. Barely on the scale, man. 0 in the tank. So it was like, oh yeah, you go talk crazy, you gonna die.
Shut down anyway.
So, I think to get into kind of the last step of supplementation, last touch of supplementation would be post workout, right? So, generally speaking, most of us do a protein shake after a workout. We may have heard things like the metabolic window.
Yeah. If you don't take it within the first 30 to 60
it's useless.
Minutes, it's not going to do any good.
Absolutely false.
That's a lie.
Absolutely false. When it comes to protein, it is your daily value of protein. It has nothing to do with what time you take it, when you take it, nothing. That metabolic window is garbage. Yeah. So don't think if you don't get that 30 grams of protein right after your workout that everything you just did is wasted.
Well, about you, but some of the protein shakes that I'm taking, I couldn't drink those 20-30 minutes after my workout.
Sometimes no.
Yeah,
it depends on how worked up I get. Like if I'm really huffing, puffing, breathing hard, like I don't want to drink anything right after.
Throw that shit up in the parking lot.
Yeah. And I mean, and there's ways to think about that too. When we think about supplementation of protein, there's only so many chicken breasts you can eat in a day. There's only so much meat you can eat a day, which is the best kind of protein. There is plant protein. We'll get into that a little bit as well, because there are good reasons for plant protein, and there's bad reasons to take plant protein. But for the most part, protein bars, like I do a Quest bar probably every day with a protein shake, 21 grams, and it's 4 net grams of carbs.
Yeah.
I do this because I'm working, and it's quick for me to grab. I can eat it in between clients. I don't have to get the microwave out and do all kinds of stuff there.
Too,
It's satiation. It fills me up until I can get home and get that meal in, or until I can sit down here and get that meal in.
Yeah.
Or a protein shake. Do both of them. I try to get between 40 and 60 grams of protein in every meal, right? And that's just because I'm intaking, 160, 180 grams a day. I mean, my ideal body weight, which is what you should be taking. Your protein intake should be 1 gram per pound of ideal body weight.
Ideal. Body weight. That is key.
So not your current body weight. Yeah. It's what you want to weigh. Yep. And protein is satiating. It should be combined with something that's high in fiber. Americans are generally low in fiber. I think the average American takes in less than 10 grams of fiber a day. This is pretty low. You should be in the 30s.
If you don't track it, you wouldn't know, right?
If you don't track it, you wouldn't know. But getting into the differentiations, you have your casein protein, you have whey protein, whey isolate, you have your vegan proteins, which would be soy or some other kind of plant protein. Mm-hmm. And have you ever tried? You've tried plant protein.
Yeah. So Ghost actually has a pretty decent plant-based protein, right?
Okay. And what's the flavor?
Nutter butter.
No. How the hell did I know you was gonna say some dumb ass shit like that?
Hey,
Fruit Loops. What flavor is Fruit Loops?
What flavor is Fruit Loops?
Exactly. Fruit.
No, the Nutter butter was good. And that was a plant-based protein. And I did that for a little bit because I was in between, other proteins that were primarily a whey or whey isolate, right? The one that you and I have talked about that I haven't tried is the
Orgain.
Maybe.
The Orgain one is the one I've probably had the most experience with.
Okay.
But here's the thing, man. Not everybody can take whey protein, and here's why. Sometimes, even after prolonged use of whey protein, you build up an aversion to it. So it causes stomach problems. I've got plenty of clients that have a stomach problem with whey protein.
Yeah.
That's where plant protein comes into play. Now, plant protein powders, you got to remember, they've already combined the things that make a whole protein. If you're just solely eating plants, those aren't whole proteins. There's not one plant that's a whole protein. That's why we eat meat. So if you're on a vegan diet, I highly implore you to be taking some type of supplementation so you're getting those whole proteins, because generally you're going to be low in protein. But the flip side of that is sometimes the aversion is inherent. My wife, for instance, cannot have whey protein. It causes migraines, and it can do that. Just like any food aversion, it can cause symptoms that you might not expect.
Yeah, different flare-ups, right?
Different flare-ups. So that's where your vegan protein comes into play. Now, whey protein is good for the most part. It's highly digestible, but sometimes, again, you just get a build up to it. Casein protein, on the other hand, casein is good for taking at night because of its absorption rate.
Yeah, long-lasting, right?
Long-lasting. It has a 12-hour absorption rate. So if I'm trying to make sure while I'm sleeping, my body is still doing something digestively, then I could take some casein protein. Yeah. I don't know how well that actually works because I don't do it. It's just like fasting. Well, everybody fasts. It's called sleep.
Yeah.
You sleep for 8 hours, that's fasting. And sometimes I fast for longer. I'm picking on fasting, but I don't think that you should ever deprive yourself of anything for long periods of time. It's just, I don't think that the human digestive system.
The Dana White, Joe Rogan, and fast for 48 to 72 hours.
So we're looking for me to kill a lot of people. Because if I can't eat for 3-4 days, dude, something bad's gonna happen. It might be just at the grocery store line when I'm trying to park.
Local order kills man at store.
Local gym owner mows people over in a parking lot because he hadn't had a sandwich in 3 days.
No. Whatever works for other people, I guess, right?
Whatever works, man. I mean, for instance, I mean, you did keto, all these other dietary things, but my personal opinion on anything dietary is once you start pulling stuff out and leaving it out, that's probably not a good thing. Carnivore diet, herbivore diet, like we're omnivores. That's why our teeth are designed the way that they are. Like, it's why our digestive system is designed the way that it is. So I just find it amusing, to use as a better word, when we get so ideological into these diets, and I'm like, what are we doing, dude?
This works. If you don't do that, you're not helping yourself, the environment, the world.
No.
It's like, man, why are you restricting yourself, right?
For sure.
And then more or less, like, you're gonna restrict yourself. You don't have to push that on me.
For sure.
And we've talked about that in the gym plenty of times with us both knowing people that are pretty extreme in veganism, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, you're gonna eat that? It had a face. It did.
It did.
Right? But
that's okay.
Yeah.
It's the food chain. I think that, what's the biggest industry where we see over supplement use, over steroid use, over doing it as far as diet is concerned?
Oh, dude, it's 100% the gym industry.
Bodybuilding, right? Bodybuilding. Not powerlifters. It's not CrossFitters. It's generally bodybuilders. And I wanted to hit that real quick because shout out my guy Brandon Chasen, QC Iron. I think he does bodybuilding in a way that is more healthful, where the diet is focused on not necessarily depletion, and you're not just crashing out everything. Like, so you don't get to a point where your coach is telling you need to be on hydroxycut and also no carbs. I mean, I don't know what weird colors of poop you're pooping at that point, but it's not going to be good.
If you are even pooping.
It's liquid at that point, man. Like, and so I just think that there's better ways, longevity wise, that everything can be done. And I think that's why we go by restraint, not restriction.
Yeah.
With supplements, restraint, not restriction. Do you need pre-workout?
No.
Probably not. No. I mean, to be honest, like, if I had never started taking it, I probably wouldn't be taking it.
Yeah.
Right? Is there a safe way to take it? Absolutely. There is a safe way to take everything. And that's why all of these things have instructions on them. And that's what I can tell people for the most part. Follow the instructions. Don't be a dumbass and think that you're smarter than the person that developed the supplement.
Yeah.
And drop 12 scoops.
Yeah, it's not going to work out for you.
It's not going to work out for you. And you're not going to get any more benefit from it.
No.
What more are you going to get?
Yeah, you're going to suck just being faster.
Yeah, I mean, you're same 1 hour.
Yeah, man. Like, just follow the instructions and do it safely.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, with that being said, let's see, we touched on pre, we touched on intra, we touched on post. The biggest thing, to wrap this up, just be safe, guys. There's nothing that your ego getting into supplementation and or anything in this facet of life is going to do for you. You try to catch up with lifts with your boy, you're probably going to tear something.
Yep.
Especially if he's bigger than you, or stronger than you, or been in it longer than you. You try to do this dry scooping stuff or whatever. Like, stop following, right? We talk about being alpha and beta. Yes, me. All you dudes jumping on the internet and dry scooping your shit and throwing an RT in, your beta is shit. Because you're just following what everybody else is doing. Do your own thing, man. Yeah. Be yourself. Follow the directions and be smart, be safe.
Yeah. It's once again, it's not a competition to see who can get in the grave quickest, right?
At least we hope not. Yeah, then damn, we're winning.
Yeah. The whole point to exercising is the longevity of it, right?
Yep. Is the health aspect.
When we talk about supplements, we really preach that. Like, honestly, just follow the instructions, right? See what works for you. And it's okay to talk to your buddies and your friends in the gym, like, hey, what are you taking? What have you found that works, right? Just so you have a basis. But
absolutely.
Don't think that, you're going to follow some guy on TikTok or Instagram that's got 5 million followers that's dry scooping 3 times a day. Like, just be smart.
Just be smart. It's not going to turn out well for you if you don't.
Yeah.
Well, hey guys, by the time this episode is dropped, it's going to be after the holidays, so we hope you had a wonderful Christmas. We hope that you're going into the new year thinking about some things in a different manner. We hope that we've helped engage you in that.
Yeah.
Keep following along. Keep, sharing, liking, and exposing more people to the podcast. We love comments, good, bad, or anything other in between. We're here to learn, and we want you to learn as well. So with that being said, guys, we're going to go ahead and sign off here for episode number 4.
Yes, sir.
And we'll see you guys next time.
And remember, just don't suck.